flawless victory. Your niggas can't do shit to me physically, lyrically, hypothetically, realistically.
Well, boys, we find ourselves in Texas, of all places, where Juneteenth originates from. Now, the powers that be have decided to focus all their efforts on making life in Texas absolutely miserable. And this gentleman right here, well, he's rather fed up. This is a BLM protest that's taking place in the middle of the road in Texas. And as a fellow motorist, trust me, I completely understand this man's anger and frustration. They're doing stop killing us. Oh my goodness, Black Lives Matter, yada, yada, yada. We know what this is. And I hate to conflate. It really isn't something that I encourage at all. But when it comes to BLM, the Marxists, the communists, the socialists, that whole cabal, right? The Crayola cabal that likes to use skin color and other arbitrary things that make absolutely nothing of anyone's character. You can't help but wrap them all together, because if you don't, then you'll end up missing a portion of this. Now, anybody notice anything interesting here for a quote unquote Black Lives Matter protest? Now, I'm not playing the audio because the audio is really unnecessary to, what's going on here. It's just like, yo, get out of the road. Like, the reason my man is so angry is because they're taking up the road and they're blocking him from going about his business based off of a already proven scam of an organization and of a mantra and all this other stuff. But yeah, I already circled it. Black Lives Matter, huh? I mean, but you're sitting there rocking that Mexico flag. Once again, I hate conflation. But their whole thing is conflation and quote unquote intersectionality. So it's like, cut it out. Like, cut it out. Be adults. But of course not, because that's not what this is about. This is about creating a race war and really starting, they want to really, really kick off the destruction of this country and use even this man who's frustrated. And I genuinely believe that this man isn't angry about the race. You're in the middle of the road. Like, I'm trying to go home. I'm trying to go about my business. And so, yeah, his anger boiled over a little bit and he slapped something out of that young lady's hands. True enough. But the restraint that he's showing as well is to be commended. Okay? Because let's be real. This man could eat half of you. Now, not Big Boy that popped up, because they need their suit, like this one right here. They need their mega simps and stuff like that, because dude, he's a freaking he's giant compared to damn near everybody else involved here. But strength in numbers and the like. So that's where. That's really their thing. And so they got a big boy out there angry and pissed off. So now they going to send out their big boy to be, hey, bro, hey, man, yeah, come see me. You see him, right? And then the other guy, pushes him back. Then the older black gentleman pushes him back. Now that the bigger, they got a big dude that, they feel protected by, ladies, that all these bras feel protected by. Now they feel right, doing their ants thing, which is, gaining up and starting pushing back. And, and he pushed you too, legal observer, because what the hell is a legal observer? It's not, is that a job? Is that a position or something like that? Are you working for a law firm or something? And he's prepared to defend himself, right? Because the tensions are high, and I can almost guarantee you it has absolutely nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with you being in the middle of the road. Oh my goodness. Oh, and here is just the extra hilarity to it. Look at the difference between him and the cop, right? That's the cop. That's him. Jesus, he could eat that man. Like, if this was back in the days of Rolling Thunder, Hear My Cry, and like, you know what I'm saying, like the 40s and the 30s, like, yo, he'd be that, the big man right here would be that big boy that they had out there just, just, you know what I'm saying, just wrestling them on up. Yeah, we're going to sit here and we're going to get us a lunch squad, and, you know what I'm saying, get the big, but now, I mean, honestly, these folks are in the middle of the road, and as a police officer, you're supposed to be, honestly, you can have your protest, you can have your peaceful protest, but you can't, you really should not be allowed to obstruct the roadways at all. But that, once again, that cabal, right? That socialist, Marxist, communist cabal, the Crayola cabal that use race to justify their terrible actions. Yeah, like I said, because Texas has really like stood up against a lot of the nonsense, they've gathered their forces and sent them out that way. And the people who make these calls and make these decisions, particularly at the state and local levels of government, trust me, they're not, this doesn't interrupt their lives. This isn't getting in the way of their lives. It's getting in the way of, you know, my motorist brother here, you know? It's getting in the way of, you know what I'm saying, like just regular everyday people who really don't care. Like, honestly, like the whole point of, you know, of equality, right, is to not care. When which becomes harder and harder to do when people are sitting there jumping in your face and disrupting your life and going in what's the name? Because I'm pretty sure dude's probably like a good dude, chill dude. Like, yo, if you bring it up to him, he probably be like, oh no, man, of course Black Lives Matter and everything else like that. But when you sit here and obstruct the roadways, guys, I'm telling you, like it is a recipe for disaster. I mean, seriously. But I mean, luckily from what we're seeing, everybody just went, you know what I'm saying, about went about their own ways. But yeah, guys, we're going to run through this again just because I want to do a quick, catch up on a lot of news that it may have seemed like I missed because I've been, you know, I get busy, I get tired, and I haven't been covering everything, but the jobs numbers were absolutely dismal. And that's because, and a large part of the reason is because of the welfare state that's been instituted where, you know, you make more money sitting at home, and that's a problem. Not just that, like, I mean, Biden has, like, there's a Chinese rocket apparently that's supposed to be touching down, like it's like 25 tons and it's supposed to be touching down and, you know, obliterating a portion of the planet, apparently. We'll see what comes of that. Like the media, they keep pushing just the craziest shit, don't they? What else? You know, like Texas, like when it comes to the whole CV situation, got to stay within TOS here. You know, Texas and Florida, who's been just the champion of this, their numbers are consistently going down. And real talk, yeah, there's a ton of other content that's going to be on its way, guys. But I wanted to, you know, just touch base on a few things to let you know that, yeah, I'm paying attention to it all. I'm seeing it all. And it's really frustrating to have this nonsense still continuing as if, you know, everything hasn't been, you know, saying like thoroughly debunked by this point, and in this game, but the game is afoot, right? The game is afoot. So, guys, with that being said, we're gonna bring this one to an end. All the internet stuff. If you like it, toss it a like, dislike, go ahead, do that too. Nobody's scared of you. Sub if you enjoy my fantastic voice. You want to get videos like this every single day. Share because sharing is caring. And YouTube and Bitchute and like are the biggest fans of your boy over here for very obvious reasons. Bang the bell for notifications. Get something from Teespring. Check me out on Patreon as well. Links in the description. Actually, go in the description box and do damage and speak and let me know what do you think in the comments. Yeah, I want to. Once again, I'm not playing the audio. I'm not playing the audio of this because of how YouTube likes to be, oh my goodness. But I definitely want this to go on to YouTube. And because that was the most violent thing that happens in the entire video, then yeah, I'm pretty sure this should be safe. I wasn't sitting here cursing up a storm or anything else like that, YouTube. But yeah, this is the mainstream. They really, really want, like, just like, you know, the media itself knows that salacious and scandalous things, mainly around race, drive clicks and views. And honestly, it's just like, cut it the fuck out. I mean, but you know exactly what you're doing. I can't even sit here and say, oh, they don't know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. And that's their goal, is to drive us, continuously drive that wedge between us as Americans, and using people who aren't, and using New Americans. I don't know if you guys remember that, but that term New Americans is for those who got here, even if you were born here after the year 2000, using New Americans who are just nothing but emotion-based creatures and that use no logic to get to get their point across and everything else like that. Like, it's been several times this week where I've talked to people about, Trump and Trump's quote unquote racism. And I asked them straight up and down, who's more racist, right? The guy who you can't find a serious lockdown racial quote about, or Biden, who said we don't need any or big shots, right? So, really, it kind of stumps them every time, and then they always pivot to, well, they both suck, everything else like that. But when it comes to particularly the TDS that your overly emotional ass is displaying to me right now, you bit off your nose to spite your face there, buddy, because things are just getting progressively worse and more expensive. Oh my goodness, things are getting way more expensive. So with that being said, boys, let me know what you think in the comments. And we tried our best to warn, but this is what we end up with. Jesus Christ. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments. Until the next one.
Men, we don't know what we did.